Today it's time to catch up on winter shop project number 2, overhauling the engine in my 1963 International Harvester Cub Lo-Boy tractor. And I've taken it apart. I bought this tractor just about a year ago. I bought it to mow my lawn. I've got a really big yard, really big lawn to mow here on the farm, so I wanted something to mow the lawn quickly. I got a 5-foot mower deck with this tractor that mounts underneath it, and I really like mowing the lawn with this tractor. It's comfortable, it's quick, it's kind of a neat little tractor anyway. It was built in 1963, so I used this. I liked it, but the engine needed to be rebuilt. It burned some oil, it had a lot of blow-by, it was down a little bit on power, so I decided over the winter to rebuild the engine on this tractor. I have also got a new clutch and pressure plate and throwout bearing to put in it while I have the engine out. It's a good time to do that. I've got the tractor split apart here. I've got the tires, back tires blocked. I've got my big jack underneath it holding it up, and so I've got the engine mostly apart and done a little work on it. Here it is right here on the engine stand. This is a C60 engine. It's a 60 cubic inch flathead type engine. Has valves in the valve train here in the block instead of in the head. I was a little apprehensive when I took this apart because these particular engines, unlike a lot of tractor engines, do not have replaceable sleeves. If the cylinder bores are worn excessively on these, you need to bore them out, and if they're already bored out and worn excessively, well, then you're kind of out of luck. But this engine is worn very little. It has the pistons were standard in it. The cylinders are worn very little, so I'm in luck. I was able to order an engine rebuild kit for this. New engines, new bearings, new valve train, and we should be in pretty good shape when it gets back together. I've driven some of the exhaust guides out of this. The exhaust valves look like they had been not sealing as good as they had before. That was one of the issues with why the tractor didn't have the power it should. It also looked like the head gasket was leaking in between some of the cylinders too, and the rings were so old that they didn't have a lot of tension left. So it was a combination of a lot of things why the tractor wasn't running as well as it should have. The valve seats look like they should grind out pretty well. The exhaust seats here have a little pitting on them, but they should grind out pretty easily. This engine has, like a lot of international engines, has replaceable valve guides. They weren't wore too bad, but the engine rebuild kit I've ordered has new valve guides, so I decided, well, what the heck, I might as well take them out and replace them as long as I've got them. I've got a few of them out, but just to demonstrate, I will put the camera down and take one of the remaining ones out just for a little demonstration of what it's like. What I do, I have the valves are 5/16 diameter, so I just take a 5/16 diameter bolt. Like this, put a nut on the bolt, grind it off so it doesn't interfere with the bore, and drive it out with my air hammer. This probably isn't the recommended method, but it's the way I do it, and you have to be really careful not to make a mistake and mess up the valve seat when you're doing this, but I've always had pretty good luck, so just drive it out. carefully like that. And pull my homemade tool loose there. And there is the valve guide that I just took out. To put the new ones in, you just repeat the procedure, reverse the procedure. So this engine had standard main and rod bearings. The pistons were standard. So I'm thinking this probably didn't have a lot of hours on it, but it has been apart once before. And the reason I know that was when I took the old bearings out of the engine. I've got a couple of them right here. This is one of the main bearings, and let things focus here. And you can see that this is marked FM. That means it's manufactured by Federal Mogul, sold through International. It's marked standard, and the serial number is, or the parts number is not there. But above that, you can see the number 967 stamped on it. That means that this bearing was manufactured in September of 1967. Of course, the tractor being manufactured in 63, we know it has taken apart once. Here's one of the rod bearings, and get to focus. Here's standard, and this isn't focusing. It's focusing. There. Okay, there we go. This is marked above where it's marked standard. It's marked 86065. So this rod bearing was manufactured in August of 1965. So that tells me that the engine has been apart at some point, probably in the late 1960s, 68, 69. I don't know why, because it's all standard. It wasn't a matter of the crankshaft being bad or the cylinders being wore. Probably never know. There's not much way to tell. So anyway, it's been together for a long time after that, and was time to be updated a little bit. So it's still a little dirty. I'll do the main washing of this after I get the cylinders honed out and the valve seats ground. Like a lot of the old-time engine builders, which I guess I am now, I after all the machine work is done and it's ready put together, I wash it in hot water and Tide laundry detergent, because Tide does a really good job of getting all the old oil loose and out of there and gets it really clean. So I'm going to, the next move is probably remove this broken head bolt, hone the cylinders, grind the valve seats, give it a good bath, and then start putting it together. So I will post more when I have something to post. So until then, have a good day.